What's going on, guys? Seth here for Tasty Loot Gaming, letting you guys know that we will not be having a Tasty Cast this weekend. I apologize. Big reason is I got 3 of my wisdom teeth pulled out like 2 days ago, and although I feel fantastic right now because these help a lot, when I talk too long, it starts hurting really bad. My jaw starts aching, all the areas start hurting, and everything starts sucking. So I really don't want that to take away from Tasty Cast. So we won't be doing that this weekend, but we will be doing our regular shows, Tasty Tuesday, I hope. And let me know in the comments if there's a topic you'd prefer us to talk about on Tasty Tuesday, or maybe do a separate episode altogether in case we missed something. I'm just letting you know, but I don't want to leave you with nothing to watch or to talk about. So one thing I wanted to discuss real fast while I can still talk is so we're going to be doing our Game of the Year discussion this next weekend, where we will be picking our Game of the Year, our favorite game of all of 2018, which has been very fucking hard to decide. I'm still thinking about it as of this moment. But we're also going to be picking 2 runner-ups, which is essentially the games that pretty much almost made it, but, weren't quite the best in our opinion. And then we'll probably discuss all the great games that came out in 2018. So it'll be a long episode, but it will be worth talking about because there's been so many good games this fucking year. It's insane. So one thing I wanted to kind of do is do kind of a preview of that. I want to let you guys know where I'm at, where my mind space is at when it comes to picking Game of the Year. And I want to know where you guys are at. Now, before we get into this, please do not, unless you really want to, don't spoil what your Game of the Year is in the comments just yet. We'll talk about that when that comes up. But I do welcome you guys to let me know, what are some of your favorite games this year and why? Why is that? When I talk to people about what their favorite games of the year are every year, it's always really interesting to see where they're at, where their mind space is, where their head's at when it comes to how they pick their game of the year. Some people pick it based off of the amount of time they put into a game. Some people put it based off of the story they really enjoyed the most. Some people put it into, the greater experience, the amount of work they put into the game, the graphics. There's so many things that can go into why a game is your favorite game of that year. And for me, it's always the impact. What hit me the hardest and what stayed with me the longest. That's typically what my game of the year is based off of. If I picked it based off time investment, which I know a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, it would probably be closer to some of the online multiplayer games I've been playing this year. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 4. A lot of Black Ops 4. I'm moving into my 5th prestige right now in that game. Is it game of the year? No, not at all. It has not impacted me. I just enjoy playing it. So yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of goes into your thought process on what is your favorite game every year. There's a game that comes out that you love the most. Obviously, this year has been very rough, but yeah. So let's jump into some of the games I'm considering for game of the year. None of these are my game of the year, and none of them are my runners up. Guaranteed, but I think it will be fun to discuss the ones I'm shuffling around in my head as of right now, and I'm still thinking about. I still have not picked one yet. So yeah, I'm playing, like I said, Black Ops 4 right now. I've been playing a lot of Just Cause 4 right now. These games are not games that will be making my list, but I'm still currently playing the games that are rolling out. I'm playing EDF 5 and I'm loving it. I want to stream that for you guys soon. Just so you can see how crazy and ridiculous it is. But these games cannot make the list. So the ones that I kind of have in my head, and some of these I know won't make it, but I think they're still worth talking about. And we'll talk about them way more in depth on our Game of the Year special this weekend. But yeah, the ones rolling around in my head right now is, oddly enough, A Way Out. A Way Out is a game that a lot of people did not talk about. The people who did play it, though, loved it. I fucking loved it. Me and Chevy sat down. We streamed the whole thing. If you want to watch the whole game, us playing it from beginning to end, you can check that out. We streamed the whole fucking thing. Me and Chevy loved it. It was very fun. I think it's a very underappreciated game. And I don't know if it'll resonate with everybody, but the storyline's really, really good. And the gameplay's really interesting. And it's just a very creative game. Detroit Become Human, which has been kind of a point of contention between some people because there's a lot of people who don't like David Cage, the guy who made the game. Whew, my fucking jaw is already hurting. there's a lot of people who don't like that guy, and there's a lot of political stuff on why people didn't play it, or they played it for like 5 seconds, didn't like it. But for people who did play it, even if people didn't enjoy the game that much, there's still parts of the game they really fucking enjoyed. Connor, to be specific, the guy who played Connor did a great job. The character's really interesting, but I myself found myself enjoying the game a lot. I believe I played that whole thing too, or most of it. I streamed most of it. I know Psycho was there for the whole thing. He watched the whole fucking gameplay. Shout out Psycho for hanging out. And I ended up loving that game, and I wanted to replay it. I never got to it. I actually did start playing it again, but I'd like to play through it again, because even though my ending is not the ending I wanted, it was still really fucking impactful, and the decisions I made in the game did play out to what the ending was. So I think it's actually one of the best games this year. The storyline is really good. The way it was played out was great. The story, well, I already said the story is great. The characters are interesting, and it's definitely Quantic Dream's best game they've ever made. So definitely shout out to that. Another appreciated game this year that I think everyone had fun with, but I think some people are kind of mixed on it, especially with the ending, is Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 is a game I fucking loved. It was very fun to play, and even though the story had some slow parts in it, there are certain parts, namely Faith's story arc and the end story arc, that I thought were fantastic. And if the other two parts even were half as good as those, I think the game would have been higher on my list. But it's definitely still in the running for me, just because the ending, a lot of people didn't, I don't think they didn't get it. Or at least they interpreted it differently, and their interpretation they didn't enjoy as much as my interpretation of it. But I think there's a lot of really good cases to be made on how that was interpreted, or how I interpreted it. And I think it's the way it's supposed to be, but it's I think it's very cool. I think there's a much grander story being told in that game than's being led on. So that is a game that I left after the end still thinking about it. I enjoyed the gameplay. It was very fun, had some very cool parts. It's Far Cry, so it's a blast to play. But the end, I was like, holy shit, he fucking knew the whole time. He was preaching this whole thing, and he was right. It changed everything for me. It was awesome. Of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 is on my list. The story's fantastic, the acting's fantastic, the music and the sound design is fucking amazing. The technology in the game is beyond everything right now. It's the pinnacle of gaming technology. For me, it had some slow parts in the story, but it does make up for it in the end. I know it hit a lot of people emotionally, hit me emotionally, not quite as much as everybody I know, but it definitely had some really, really great fucking parts. And the longevity of it is just there. And RDO, even though it came out a little clumsy, definitely is going to build into something. Rockstar's not going to let that fucking go to waste. So very excited for the future of Red Dead Redemption 2 and RDO, and definitely, one of the best games to come out in 2018. I don't think anyone can really argue that. Of course, the fucking OG Game of the Year contender, Monster Hunter World, something I owe so much to in terms of this channel's growth. And meeting so many fucking cool people in this community. The game is a blast. A lot of us come from old school Monster Hunter, came to this one. It's streamlined, it plays amazing. It has so much content that's come out over the year, and yeah, it's just been a blast. It was the first game I played this year that I was like, this is one of the best games of this year, and it stayed there. It's definitely a great and fantastic game, and we have so much to look forward to next year with it. So it's the game that keeps giving, and I know a lot of you guys agree with me, so it's absolutely in the running for me. And then God of War, of course. God of War for me is one of those games that comes out every once in a while, like a Last of Us, like a Metal Gear Solid, like a Final Fantasy VII. It's one of those games that you look at back in the day, and you're like, that game's fucking legendary. God of War did that for me. It's a game that has amazing characters, an amazing story, great gameplay, awesome surprises, and absolutely lasts with you after you beat the game. I was thinking about the game, and I still think about that game's story to this day. It's fantastic. It's visionary. It's a masterpiece, in my opinion. So Cory Barlog did an amazing job, him and his team. And then one of the last ones I want to mention, there's so many games I could mention here, but we'll talk about it when we do this, because I need to stop talking here. I got some fucking pills to take. is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a game that I feel so bad about this year and is absolutely in my running because Spider-Man is one of the best made and played and fun, just fun fucking video games this whole year in 2018. It beats almost everything. And it has to go against God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. It didn't win much at the actual Game Awards because of that weird middle ground it's in. It's better than most games, but it's not high enough quality to beat a couple games. But it's still, for me, I think it's one of the funnest games I played in 2018. I think that's really important to mention because video games are meant to be played and enjoyed for entertainment, and what is entertaining more than just having fucking fun. And that's what Spider-Man did, on top of great fucking graphics, great acting, great story that actually made me feel something towards the end. I did not expect that for a fucking superhero game. And awesome unlockables. I mean, the game was stellar, and they're still releasing stuff. I need to pick it up. I actually really enjoyed playing that game, and I can't wait for whatever they come out with next. Insomniac just knocked out the fucking park with that game. So, yeah, that's kind of a list of some games I'm shuffling in my head right now. I'm trying to figure out what is going to be my game of the year, and I'm not revealing anything. And please don't reveal your game of the year either just yet. Just let me know, what games did you take notice of? Which games did I not mention that I should be mentioning? Because there's so many games I need a reminder too. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below on what games you love this year. I don't know what I just did here. There's like a weird way of counting with my fucking... I'm on some shit right now. And let me know what goes into your mindset when it comes to picking your game of the year. Is it gameplay invested time? Is it story? Is it characters? Is it just how much work they put into it? How it looks graphically? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments when you think about the game of the year and your mindset on it. And that's going to do it for this little tasty bit. And again, I apologize. No tasty cast. Talking, just to this point is hurting my mouth. So I'm sure you guys understand. You guys are the fucking best, obviously. Obviously, this community is the fucking best on YouTube. There's no competition. And let's discuss this and let's talk about our game of the year this upcoming weekend. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome to finally give just that fucking validity to the games that deserve it. And we're going to discuss that the whole time. Yeah, till the next episode, which will be Taste Tuesday. Have a great weekend, guys. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Hopefully all your teeth are still in your head. And take it easy, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider hitting the like button. We'd really appreciate it. And if you want more weekly content, hit the subscribe button. You can always find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter at Tasty Loot Gaming. And as always, thanks for watching.